Yada, yay area in the building.
Yo, 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 yo. We back at it on a Wednesday afternoon. We switching it up, trying to bring that Wednesday thing back. It's your boy RKY, aka Prime. That's Leroy Green. What's good, brother?
What's good? What's good? We ain't trying to bring it back. We done brought it back. It's back now. You
Back
know what
on
I
a
mean?
Wednesday, man. Back on a Wednesday. Man, you trying to get me in the doghouse, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get out the
You gonna,
doghouse.
you gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. We gonna go to the next level. Then you're gonna be good.
We gonna be good. We gonna be see, I'm rocking my Georgia hat. We gotta
Yeah.
I might rock this hat for the next few shows because we got a big football weekend. We got the SEC championship in
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia against the Texas Longhorns. So we gotta represent. You know what I mean? We gotta represent. So I might rock this for good luck all the
Yeah.
way throughout the playoffs, throughout the SEC championship. But it's been a crazy day, man. We had you saw the CEO of United Healthcare got assassinated today, man. You saw that in New York. My
That's
man had a
crazy. Nah, I didn't hear nothing about that.
nah. My man had he got ran up on with a man had a silencer on his joint in New York. He was going to like a
Hey,
conference. He got hit.
health is real, man. A doctor told me that when they had us lining up to get the yada da mean during the yada da mean. If you know, yeah, but health is real, and it's like, if I man, we'll go to a different subject.
We got a good show for you tonight, guys. We're going to touch on Skyzoo got a new album. Nappy Roots just dropped the EP. A lot of people don't talk about the Nappy Roots. We had a good group discussion last week, and we really didn't get into that. We're going to do a review of Gladiator II. We're going to talk about the Shyne documentary. What else we got? Jay-Z's birthday is today. And also we're going to talk about
Go
the streaming numbers, man. These streaming numbers came out.
oh,
Spotify
LP
streaming numbers came
yada.
out. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things today, man. Let's start with Jay-Z, man. Jay-Z turned 55 today, man.
That's the goat, man. Let me get up decoded. In my book decoded, because I believe in bars. Now we gonna have to make a decision on what matters in hip hop. But happy birthday to who I think is the goat. Let me put my book back. Bars decoded. Like why you write what you write, but I think he's the GOAT, man. Happy birthday to him. I've seen many of Jay-Z's birthdays since the 90s, so you know what I mean. But a lot of people got stuff to say about Jay-Z, whether you like him or not. I'm into lyrics. I like lyrics. So when I go into a lyric bag, Jay-Z's always been able to give me some jewels there as far and also flows. I know last on Monday, Mike and Servan was talking about flows that Jay Z got and whatnot, and well deserved, man. I'm hoping he comes back with a new album, but I'm just hoping that if he does do a new album, the last time he gave you the perspective of the guy, the married man trying to keep his family together. The next time, I hope he gives you the perspective of like a Shyne. I watched the Shyne documentary, and that's where hip hop needs to go. Now I'm gonna elaborate on that later, but
But let,
2025 is the year of decisions, not indecision or confusion. It's the year of make a decision and then do it. What's dope about Jay-Z is he sets his mind on something and he just does it. I don't think Jay-Z is thinking from up here. I think Jay-Z is thinking from in here. That's another level. That's another level when you thinking from this energy. That's beyond the I don't think he's thinking from his brain. I think he's thinking from his heart. And this is why you see the success. This is why you get the classics. This is why you see the life he's living. In my opinion. You
you
know what
know
I
what?
mean?
I know it's Jay-Z's birthday, so I'm not even going to push back on that today, Leo. I was going to push back on that, but I'm gonna let you rock today on that. But yo,
Yeah.
quick Jay-Z story for the audience, man. Back in the day, back when I was in seventh, eighth grade, this is back when he was rocking with Foxy a lot. I think Ain't No Ninja was out.
Right.
After Reasonable Doubt, before Volume One. I told people in my classroom, seventh, eighth grade now,
Mm-hmm.
that Jay-Z was gonna be the biggest rapper in the world. They laughed at me. They said, that dude with the big lips rapping with Foxy. I said,
Right,
something
right.
about this dude, he's gonna be the biggest rapper in the world. And he became that, man. I saw him on the Hard Knock Life tour. I saw him on the Jay-Z and Friends tour when he brought out Mary J. Blige. He brought out I think he brought out Rick Ross. I think he brought out Jeezy. I saw him in Italy with Beyonce. So I've been following Jay-Z for a minute, man. And again, I like a lot of people don't like 444. I thought the album was pretty solid. Um, was it
Yeah,
his greatest work? It wasn't, but I thought it was a solid effort for where he was in his life. I like the Drug
yeah.
Dealers Anonymous verse. I love the What's Free verse. I like the
Yeah.
mixtape S. Carter J
Come on,
era.
man.
Um,
Come on.
I like
Fire.
Black. The album I listen to the most from Jay is probably the Black album, and then I revisit Volume One a lot because Volume One got a lot of bangers on it, man. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's his debut. People, of course, Reasonable Doubt is his real debut, but in '96, people don't know Reasonable Doubt is out. So Volume One is Jay Z's debut album to the streets because they did not know Reasonable Doubt was out. Only a few heads knew that Reasonable Doubt existed. You know what I mean? So I, in my view, because I was alive in them times, and people was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get Jay Z's new album, his debut album." They thinking Volume One was his debut. They didn't know Reasonable Doubt existed. You know
right
what I mean?
in LP, the Italy show was crazy, and I got to keep it a buck. I was I was more impressed with Jay Z's performance than I was with Beyonce's. I think her energy was off. Um, a funny thing, we dressed up. We didn't. I didn't do the reconnaissance. Right. Normally, when I'm somewhere, I like to
All
do the
right,
reconnaissance and see where I'm at. And my wife and I, we dressed up like we was in Atlanta or something. I had a black suit on with a black Yankee hat on, some hard bottoms. But the
all
joint was
right,
in the soccer stadium. It was in San Siro Stadium in Milan. And so we were overdressed.
all
They thought we was part of the damn show. They thought we was part
right.
of the damn
Right,
ensemble. But it was a dope show.
right.
Dope show. But happy birthday to Jay, man. Happy birthday to Jay.
Yeah.
Um, I think
Well,
I
at
don't,
one point though,
go ahead, go ahead.
on your point about albums, I think people are judging albums by what they want to hear instead of judging albums by what the album is. So I was gonna talk about album of the year today. I was gonna get into that bag. I'm not gonna get into that bag right now. I'll just say honorable mention, uh, Blue for Los Angeles. Honorable mention, Gang Green. Honorable mention, Conway, Slant Face Killer. But it's like I think people are listening for what they want to hear instead of listening to what is this album. And Jay is a victim of that too. I think and people get a Jay-Z album and they're like, I wish it was like Blueprint. No, I wish it was like American Gangster. Like what? Like judge it for what it is. But go ahead though. Go ahead.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
throw you. I'm gonna throw you a curveball. You got one
Yeah.
Jay Z album. You can only pick
Yeah.
one Jay Z album
Yeah.
and three Jay Z songs. What songs you taking? No, I'm just
So
saying. So,
one
so it's two sets. You get one. You get one album, one whole
right,
album, and then you can pick
right,
three extra songs from anywhere in his catalog. What you picking?
right. So three song I'll do it backwards. Three songs first. I'm gonna go Can I Live, which I said earlier in the comment. Can I Live? I'm gonna go Beach Chair, and I'm gonna go Most Kings. A lot of people haven't heard Most Kings, but look up just his Funk Flex freestyle. That's the verses from Most Kings. Album, I'm gonna go American Gangster, which I feel is the greatest gangster rap album because what is a gangster actually? Do we even know what gangster is? Of course, everyone's gonna say yeah, but to know what gangster is, I feel you actually have to be one at some point in your life to understand what is gangster. Like, and I'm gonna go back to that topic with Shyne because in 2025, what we think is gangster cannot be gangster no more. I'm sorry. Like we have to get out of that bag. Like if the things that we think are gangster now can no longer be gangster. Not in 2025. That's too old. But in 2025, I mean, in American Gangster, Jay Z is comfortable. Like a lot of people will say Reasonable Doubt. In Reasonable Doubt, he sounds like he's afraid he could die or go to jail. That's what he sounds like. Even though there's braggadocio, there's street tales, but he sounds paranoid like he may die or go to jail. And in American Gangster, he has accepted the fate. he has accepted where he's gonna go. It's either gonna be success or jail or dead, and he's accepted it. And he's become comfortable with those circumstances. And he's rapping way more comfortable. And I know people are like, well, it's based on the movie. Well, the movie was the inspiration. But I think being inspired before you record can make some incredible stuff. So American Gangster would be, I think that mentality, because an American Gangster, he's not saying I'm the toughest guy in the street. That's not what he's saying. He's saying this is how I'm choosing to maneuver based on the circumstances that are in front of me. Now that is a different approach. You know what I mean? To gangster rap. You know what I mean? So that would be my one album. You
All right,
know?
if I'm taking one Jay-Z album, I'm taking the Black Album. I was gonna say the Blueprint, but I'm gonna take the Black Album. I'm gonna take the Black Album
Fire.
because, I think that's Jay-Z maybe at his apex.
Mm.
I think people would say the Blueprint's at his apex. So I think Jay-Z has mastered
Yeah.
the game at Black Album. He's mastered the game. He's on top of the game. I don't think he's really
Oh, yeah.
at the top of the game at
No,
Blueprint because you got DMX's out, you got the
he's on
Eminem's
top.
out. I don't know if he's really on top of the game, but he's like undisputed the man when Black Album comes out. So I'm gonna say,
He,
even though it's in that 50 Cent era,
he's on top of the game.
I'm gonna say Black Album. And if I got to take 3 songs, I'm gonna take A Million and One Questions. I'm gonna take, this is gonna be a crazy pick. I'm gonna take the song Kingdom Come that Just Blaze did off the album Kingdom Come.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna take
that was fire.
I'm gonna take You Don't Know and shit. It's our show, my show. I'm gonna throw an extra song and I'm gonna take
All right,
somehow, some way off the Blueprint too
fire.
with Beanie and Scarface. That's what I'm gonna take.
No doubt. I mean, and Black Album, Jay is on top of the game. Now, some people will say, well, for 50 Cent, he came out and went diamond. So to that, I say we have to make a decision, y'all. Does being on top of the game mean you sell the most numbers or you strike people's heart in a certain way? We have to pick. If we're going numbers, let's do numbers. Numbers makes you king. I don't got a problem if we're gonna go numbers. But if we're gonna go emotions, then let's pick emotions. But we keep trying to do both and make both arguments. We gotta pick what is more important in hip hop. Numbers or music. I don't care. Whichever one y'all want to pick, we could go numbers. And whoever has the most numbers is king. So that means Drake is king. And we going to have to speak like that if we're going numbers. But if we're going to go on emotions, let me know so I could respond to the music in a way that speaks to the emotions of the music. But pick one.
Well,
You know what I mean?
let's get to a numbers conversation. I want to get to a numbers conversation. Before we go, I think
Yeah.
Leroy, I think this book is $2,000. The super chats have been kind of light. If we get some super chats, and I might be able to afford it. But
Okay.
this new book of Hove came out, and I think it's like $2,000. So I don't know if I can
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I can afford that.
Yeah.
But if we get these super chats up, maybe
That's
you know what I mean.
fire.
Maybe you might get that under your Christmas tree from your boy Ron. Man, I don't know.
No
I don't
doubt.
know. I don't
the,
know.
the yeah, the reason why I don't have a problem with the numbers argument, right, is because we have people in this culture that are super ambitious, and I don't want to stifle or hold down that energy, and because I know that energy is out there. So if you want to go numbers, we can go there, because I believe there's somebody out there that can sell the most records ever sold. So I don't want to push down that energy. I want to tell that person to go, right? But if we're gonna also talk about like just influence and how your music hits, and when 2003 comes out, it's a buy, it's a adios to Jay-Z. He says he's leaving. So if he did leave, that would have been a high mark. The leaving on a classic album like the Black Album, that's incredible. You know what I mean? And like again, people could say 50 Cent, but Jay was never trying to be like, I'm the most toughest guy. That was never Jay's bag. Jay was more so like, I'm a business guy. And I think that we should go business too. Now I'm gonna get into another bag, but I think MCs being intentional with business should be is a good thing. But you know,
Yo, let's stay on the numbers train because in today's era
yeah,
we got the streaming business, right? So make sure you hit like and subscribe. By the way, hit like and subscribe, show us some support.
right.
I'm a Spotify guy. I got Apple Music, I got Spotify. But let us know in the chat what you guys rock with. You Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube Music, whatever you get your Amazon Music, wherever you get your streaming from. But Amazon put out their year-end list. Their streaming numbers is today, and
Right.
lo and behold, it looks like
Drizzy.
the top 10 artists in America. Number one is Taylor Swift. Number two is Drizzy. Three is Zach Bryan. Four is Morgan Wallen. Five is Kanye West. Six is Future. Seven is
Hmm.
Kendrick Lamar. Eight is Travis Scott. Nine is The Weeknd. And a surprise, 10 is Metro Boomin.
I mean, I respect it, man. You know, like I said, I normally am checking for different type of raps. While people was checking for Drake, I'm listening to Skyzoo, so I'm a different type of person. But I gotta put some respect on what Drake has done because I know it's just not easy. A lot of hip hop heads, you know, a lot of people they'll think that's easy to just do what Drake does. Trust me, to do what Drake does is so insane. You would have to spend tens of thousands of hours in the studio honing your craft. And even if you had help, that's even with reference tracks, that's even with writers, that's even you would still have to spend tens of thousands of hours doing that. So that to do what Drake does takes incredible amount of work and ambition. So I can't knock that. It's like I can't,
Right.
you know?
And when we go outside of the US, Drake is still at number four. Travis Scott is six. Kanye West is eight. Are you
Yeah.
surprised that Drake is still dominating the
No,
streaming charts?
no.
And
Oh,
Kanye.
no. Well, I mean, when you know, with Kanye, I may have to do more. Like, I may have. Well, no, I don't have to do more research. I can do, but I'm not surprised, right? First, with Drake, when Drake came out, in a couple episodes, Mike and Saran was talking about Drake too. I went to a Best Buy when Drake first came out, and I kind of don't know who Drake is. I kind of do, and I kind of don't. Meaning, I heard the name before, but I just tuned it out because I was listening to other stuff, right? So I'm not really checking. I'm not really checking like that. So I go into a Best Buy, and they got this dude Drake, his CD up in the front of the Best Buy, like an EP. So there's 7 songs on the EP, and it's just a heart on the album, right? The album is flying off the shelf. They got to keep restocking it, restocking it, restocking it. So I'm like Drake. I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is the R&B dude. This is the dude that sang Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. So I'm like, damn, that's popping. That R&B is making a comeback. I'm still kind of not checking for him in my own mind. Then I go to Rasputin's. So I leave Best Buy. I go to Rasputin's, and his mixtape again is on the shelf. Now this is not his EP. This is a mixtape that some DJ put together with his music on it. The mixtape is flying off the shelf. I know the guy, the boss who works at the Rasputin too. He's like, yeah, this Drake is killing it. So then I realized, oh, okay, like this is the bro that had the song with Trey Songs too. So I'm starting to put it together. But long story short is this: when you have somebody that comes out and dominates R&B and rap, and he's selling more albums based on just street music than people who are dropping real albums, his EP is flying out of Best Buy. That's an alien. I'm sorry. That's something you do not see. You do not see that. Now, the only comparable thing I can compare to that is when a young 50 Cent was dropping mixtapes, right? But this was a few years after that. But you just don't see that. So when I saw that, I said, okay, this guy's going to be this guy's going to be special. So I could keep going on and on about, listening to Drake from there to figure out what, why the people were, going after his music the way they were going after it. But again, When you got somebody that comes out and dominates two genres of music, that's alien. And I can get into that with Snoop too, because people don't like Snoop's new song. That's not even Snoop could dominate R&B with that song. He can do multiple genres. These type of people are aliens. Snoop Dogg, Drake, CeeLo, Lauryn Hill. These are not normal. They're just not normal. You know what I mean? So when I saw Drake come through, I knew that it was going to be a problem. Then he drops. So then I listen to Comeback Season and I figure out, oh, he got bars too. So he's out barring people too. Then I'm like, okay, now he's barring up. Then I hear So Far Gone, and that to me is a classic. Why? Because of the way it impacted the street. Now, it may have impacted girls. Yeah, a lot of women were onto his music, but when I heard the music, I'm listening, is this music good? That's really my only question. Like, cuz I'll go listen to something else. Is the music good? And it was good to me. Like, dude, like, and I'm saying, to dominate, to be a rapper and a singer, that's just not easy. It's just not. Like, anybody who thinks that's easy, try it. Try it. And I guarantee you, you're gonna get super frustrated. I tried to sing myself recently, only because I had to do like a hook part, right? So and I tried to sing it.
Damn, Leo,
It,
now
it
you
was
got,
not good. It was not
you
good.
piqued my curiosity. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Leo. I want to hear it.
I
Give it,
mean,
try it.
I think the show. If y'all want to hear it, I'll play it. But it was not. It was not good, y'all. I'm just letting you know.
At the end of the
But
show, we're gonna get Leroy rapping. We're gonna in the singing. We're gonna hear this shit. But let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. I
yeah,
don't think the beef has damaged Drake from a streaming perspective globally, and that's what the chart shows me. I don't think
right.
I don't think he's damaged.
No, no, he's not. I mean, in hip hop standards, yes, he's damaged. But again, folks, we're going to have to pick a side. What are we doing? Are we talking hip hop culture as if we are separate from American culture? Now, if we want to have that conversation, I'm willing to have it. But if we are going to be included in American culture as hip hop culture or music culture, then no, Drake is not damaged. Cole is not damaged. Like, a lot of people thought Cole not being in battle would damage his brand. Trust me, nobody cares that Cole didn't battle. The only people that care are us, and we are the very smallest minority versus outside that don't care about a battle at all. They still don't even know there was a battle. Okay, like they're just finding out about Drake and Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So yeah,
man.
so I gotta put some respect on Drake's name and Jay-Z, but Drake that we're talking about, because what he does is just, it's almost impossible. It's almost to do the numbers Drake does. It is almost impossible. So if we want to play a numbers game, I want somebody to beat that. Somebody go out there and beat what Drake has done. Make yourself equivalent to Michael Jackson in 10 years, right? Because
I don't
yeah,
know.
no. Yeah, that no, that's where Drake plays at. That's the arena Drake is playing in. He's playing in Michael Jackson arena. When you talk about Drake,
Mm.
that's where Drake plays. Trust me, y'all. We live in an era where we can't count all the numbers because everybody has a computer. If we could count how many people click on Drake's music from a computer, or that we could calculate, because we're only calculating a portion. If we could calculate everything, bro, he's dealing with Michael Jackson airspace. Okay?
Well, from a pop standpoint, but from a music standpoint, ain't no thrillers, ain't no off the walls,
What you talking about?
ain't no
What you
bads, ain't no dangerous. I
I don't
don't
know
know.
about that,
I don't
bro.
know. I
I don't
don't
know
know.
about that.
What's
You
Drake's?
just pulled up you just pulled up Drake's numbers,
And
right?
I'm saying from a pop perspective, from a popularity standpoint, yeah, he's playing in that space with Rihanna, Madonna. Um, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, he's playing in that space.
he's playing in that space, but from a
Yeah.
music space, I don't know if he's playing in that music space where he
Oh,
got a
yes,
thriller
he is.
or
Yeah,
or He not
He
even
got
playing. He not even playing in the print space. If you keep it a little
he got
buck.
he got the reason why it's not going to come across like he's there is because again, we all have access to hearing and seeing Drake whenever we want. So now we've been diluted into thinking that this is just normal. We think Drake what Drake does is just normal everyday business. It's not special. Drake isn't special in an age where we all have access to his music. In the Michael Jackson era, we didn't have access to Michael Jackson's music. We only had access when his album dropped and we could go buy it, or when we turned on the TV and the TV networks put him on, or when we turned on radio and we could hear him. Now, if we had 24-hour access to Michael Jackson for over 10 years, it would what he does would start to appear normal to us.
No,
Because
in the '80s, if we had 24 access to Michael Jackson, he'd be the damn biggest thing. I mean, I don't. It would be astronomical. It'll be
I'm
like,
telling you,
it'll be like
Drake is playing that.
he
Yeah.
would be like, I don't know, man. He'll be like something else, man. I think because Michael, I mean, the internet changed how music is, right? So I don't think, I mean, Drake is playing in rare space like a Rihanna, Beyonce. You know, the
Right.
internet and social media changed the pop star. There was a song back in the day, MTV had what it says, video killed the radio star. I think it was video killed the radio star.
All
I think
right.
social media killed the star. Because back in the day,
Exactly.
I mean, Travis Scott still plays in that space where people be passing out, and he does like a little pop up event, and it's like they got to shut down the block. I mean, you don't have those artists anymore because they're always on social media. You have access to artists in different
Right.
ways.
And
But
you can't admit you're a fan. Again, if you're out in the world, you have to say you don't like people. Because now if you say you're a fan, you're a D rider. So you can't be a fan. But if we actually had the numbers of people who are fans that don't have to admit it openly, Drake is out of here. You know what I mean? Not to cut you, but you can't even be
no,
a
I'm,
fan.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's like in a. It's a different space, man. It's a different space because again, social media and the way that music comes out so quickly, the streaming platforms, it changed the way we look at
Exactly.
stars. I don't know. Maybe we're in a generation. It's the last superstars, man. Because I don't
Oh, yeah, the
think.
superstar is dead. There is no superstar, and there's not gonna be no superstar because a superstar comes from people you can't have access to. People that only pop up once in a blue moon to where you can't. Now that you have access to that person 24 hours a day, you can see what they're doing on 10 different platforms of social media. There's no superstar to that. Now this person is as regular to you as the guy down the street.
Well, yeah, and again, the people that grew up in the area that we grew up still move that way because Kanye limits his social media activities. Travis Scott kind of moves in that way. You got Billie Eilish. My daughter, I don't listen to this shit. My daughter does. Okay, Billie Eilish. You got Harry Styles. You
Right.
got Sabrina Carpenter. You got Olivia Rodrigo. Who else is popping right now? These kids like, you know what I'm
Yeah, no,
saying?
you're right about all of them.
Chappelle Roan. But from a urban space, from a hip hop space, shit, the last hip hop superstar really, it may be Travis, it may be Kanye, and it's Drake, and maybe Kendrick, because Kendrick
And
moves a little different too. You don't do a lot of interviews. You know what I'm saying?
Kendrick,
He moves like a mystery man. So maybe Kendrick moves like that.
here's why Kendrick is important. With if there's no Kendrick, then whoever sells the most numbers is king. Trust me, hip hop really cares more about money and numbers than it cares about culture. We would rather talk about money than we would about rhymes and beats. Trust me. If we got on here just talking about how much money people got and how what they drive and how much their jewelry is, everybody would tune into that because money is more of value than music to people. But Kendrick is the last person. Now there's 100 MCs that offer something more valuable than just how much money they have. You know what I mean? He ain't the only one, but on a mainstream level, Kendrick is that last reminder. Like, look, this is about more than money. This is about culture. So this means even if you don't have no money, you are still valuable because you are valuable as a person. Now we have to pick what side of the fence are we going to be on. Either who has the most numbers, who has the most fame, and who has the most money is king, or who offers the most value musically and lyrically is king. But this doing both that we do, lingering in both, we got to stop doing that because that makes it seem like we're not being 100. Hip hop is not. Hip hop is no longer. If we were being real 100, we would pick a side. That's what people that are 100 do. They pick a side. They don't do both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm rounding.
No, you're not rattling. I want to say, speaking of Kenny, Kenny got an album, got a tour with SZA about to drop. Let me pull out the link real quick.
Now,
Yeah.
now, yeah. Go ahead.
So they're coming out with a tour. What's the name of this tour? It's what's the name of this joint?
Kenny,
Um,
the
it's
tour
called it's
thing.
called
Yeah.
something. What's the name of this tour, guys? Help me out in the chat. What's the name of this Kendrick tour with SZA?
That's fire though, and last time I said show tickets should count as album sales. What I meant to say is, at these listening events that are shows where you hear the album for the first time, those should count as record sales. I'm sorry, we have to. There has to be a new model rather than everybody not selling a lot, and we just be comfortable with thinking that these artists aren't moving. They're moving. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. But I don't know what the tour is called. But Kendrick is a decision time. Like I said, in 2025, it's going to have to be a decision. Now, people that don't want to make decisions, that's fine. But hip hop is at a space where either it's going to die out or it's going to have a renaissance period or a resurrection period. But that comes with a choice. If no choice is given, then this thing is going to die out. This thing is going to die out because in the real world, money is more important than hip hop. So in the real world, when hip hop goes out there, people like, man, just talk to me about getting some money. I don't care about no raps. I don't care about no beats, fool. So hip hop is gonna die.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's gonna die. I think it's I mean, music's the lifeblood of society. Well, one of the
Can't
fabrics of society. It is a critical pillar to how human existence, interact with one another. Music
talk about that.
in the history of time has
Yeah.
been woven in the fabric of society. So I think hip hop music
Mhm.
is part of that thread. But Kendrick's
Okay.
tour, he's gonna be in let's look at the dates real quick. Um let's look at the dates. He's gonna be in LA. He got a couple LA shows. What else he got? He's gonna be in Toronto, which should be interesting.
Dope.
He'll be in Atlanta.
Mm.
He'll be in Houston, Texas on April 23rd, Arlington, Texas on April 26th. And he's doing arenas. He's doing big stadiums. Bank of America
Yeah.
Stadium in Charlotte, Philadelphia on May 5th, May 8th in New Jersey. 9th, he's doing two shows at MetLife Stadium, Foxborough Stadium in Boston, Foxborough, Massachusetts, May 12th, Seattle,
Dope.
the 17th of May, LA at SoFi Stadium, the 21st and 23rd, 27th, Glendale, Arizona, 29th, San Francisco, 31st, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, 4th of
Dope.
June, St. Louis, June 6th, Chicago at Soldier Field, June 10th.
Hold on. I would just say there's no need for Kendrick to go to Canada. Relax on Canada right now, Kendrick. You know what I mean? I see the play, but stay out of Canada. That's one. Two, people are saying, Jay-Z was talking to Money Talk. Jay-Z also was a label owner. So when he's talking money talk, he's kind of addressing it to people with power. I know it sounds like he's talking to you, but he's talking to some people in business with power, and he's just letting them know you can't play with me. So he's not necessarily like a rapper just stunting for no reason. He, as a label owner, he kind of had to play the money card, if you know what that entails. But back to Kendrick, stay out of Canada, man. You know what I mean? It's don't even play in water where the water's boiling. Just like Biggie should have stayed out of LA, stay out of Canada, man. Now, granted, nothing's really gonna happen if you're doing an arena, right? You're doing a stadium arena. It's 100 cops out there. It's so ain't nothing, but still, don't even chance Canada. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be good, man. People ain't gonna be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Ain't nothing
You know what
gonna
I'm
happen.
saying? I mean, I would if in a time like this, I wouldn't be going out there. You know what I mean? Now, granted, now if you like we rock again. We just had Absol on, like you know what I mean. Like, and when people receive an invite from me or that I stay in contact. So I'm from the West Coast, but you know what I mean. I would just say if you have to do the Canada thing, be in and out, do the show, get in, get out. Don't no kicking it, no shaking hands, no taking pictures, no get in, get out, my brother.
They like that in Canada, man. It's like that up there.
It's not even a Canada or they like it could be just one person. That's all. It could be one guy. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, don't even play in water when it if it's really war. Don't even play with it. You know what I mean? But that's me. Now again, he's not doing a little club. He's doing an arena where the you would have to be a ninja to get close to Kendrick. Like, you know what I'm saying? You would have to be a super ninja. But I'm just saying, don't even test the water. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't even think they on that time, man. So, you
Okay.
know, they ain't
I
on
hope
that
not.
type of time, man. But anyway, I might go to the show. I never been to a Kendrick Lamar show. I might go to one. And I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
the I'm gonna go to the Vegas show. I'm gonna go to the
The
Vegas show.
show makes it different. The show makes music different. I know a lot of people like I don't like Mr. Morale. You ain't seen it in a show capacity. That's why you don't like Mr. Morale. Now I didn't go to a Mr. Morale show either, but I'm from California. So when y'all say, "Oh, they don't really play Mr. Morale on the radio," not where I'm at. Admit I weren't. They played Rich Spirit. They played Silent Hill. They played what's the song die or die alone or something, but they played his song. They played N95. So Mr. Morale got played in California. You know what I mean? But you know we'll see though. And like I said, at 99.9% chance K Dot is good anywhere, even in Canada. But it's like Rick Ross went out there playing. He went to Toronto playing. Don't play, man. You know what I'm saying? Some people ain't playing. It's that's all I'm saying, man. Yeah,
We'll
man.
see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm interested in this show. I never been to a K Dot show, my first time. So I'm gonna go to the Vegas show and we'll see what's popping.
Fire. No, respect to them. But like I said, Kendrick is of real importance. I know people feel the way about the Super Bowl thing, but again, for him to come out and challenge a Drake, then defeat a Drake, that is not supposed to happen. That's just not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So the fact that it did, it lets you know that really like anything is possible. But I still gotta give Drake his respect also because I see the lane that he's in and I just know it's not easy to occupy that lane. It's very difficult. So and I don't hear a lot of people say that. They talk about Drake as if you can just skip and jump your way into success and it's easy. It's not really like that. You to do what Drake does, you would almost have to be out of your mind, insane recording. Like you would have to be insane about recording songs. Like you know what I mean? Like something would not have to be crazy about you to reach that level. You know what I mean? So respect to him.
Well, let me be transparent because I want to share my list. Spotify. I'm a Spotify user. Hit us in the chat. Let us know what you use. You use Tidal, YouTube Music, Amazon, Apple Music, whatever the case may be. Um, this what popped up for me. Um, what's my streaming numbers at?
1 second, I'm gonna be right back, bro.
So my top artists of the year were Jay-Z and number one, according to Spotify. They said I listened to 20,000 minutes of music. That's crazy. Number 2 was Kanye West. 3 was Kendrick Lamar. 4 was Nas. 5, and this has to be a mistake. G Unit, which is crazy. I don't know what that is, man. That's real. That's real crazy. I don't know if I listened to that many G Unit records at all, so I don't know why they got it at number 5. My top song was "Gotta Have It" off the Throne. The Mechanic, which is a G Unit record. No Breaks by this band called The Bravery. Vultures off the Kanye Ty Dolla Sign joint, and a song called Pretty Bird by the Dave Matthews Band. So that's my Spotify list, man. I was very surprised. Very surprised. Am I muted? Hold on. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, that was my list. That was my list.
So
Leroy back in the building.
yeah. No, I mean that's a dope
That G
list.
Unit, that G Unit, I think Spotify was tripping. 'Cause I don't think I listened to that much G Unit this whole year. I don't know where that came from. That was wild. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I
I
listened
mean
to more
50,
Pac.
you know.
I listened to more
Yeah.
Pac than I did and more Nas than I did G Unit. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, you know, they got their ways of getting their audience to listen to their stuff. I mean, if 50 Cent, if you had a show out, you know, like a TV show, and that would always kept your name buzzing, then you'd probably gotta get a lot of listens. With Jay-Z, you know, his name is Jay-Z. He's gonna get a lot of listens. You know, Kanye. So, you know, I get it, you know what I mean? But you know, I got a different list of who was really that I really listened to this year. You know what I mean? So
What's on your list?
I'm just saying, folks, y'all get your album of the because December is my favorite month of music because I get to decide who was made the best music. So y'all let me know. You know, y'all want me to go, I could go.
It's
But
your
y'all
list.
let I want to
It's your list, man. It's your
honorable
list.
mention. I'm gonna do honorable mentions right now. Honorable mention Schoolboy. Q, honorable mention Gang Green, honorable mention Conway, honorable mention Blue, Ka, Absol. These are the honorable mentions. Honorable mention Tyler, honorable mention West Side Gun, Big Sean. I'm just doing the honorables, y'all. Just doing the honorables. But y'all let me know like who because I want to see where y'all at. Like where your head is at of who makes the best rap music per year in 2024, who made the best rap music. I just want to know where your head is at. You know what I mean?
You
So
tell
that's all
us.
we gonna get.
You tell us,
Huh?
Leroy. Who you got? Who you got?
I gave y'all a cool honorable listen, honorable mention list, so y'all can see where I'm headed. Right? I gave y'all. I said Schoolboy Q. Right? I said Gang Green. Nobody Gang Green. I said Conway. I said Blue. I said Ka. I said Ab Soul. I said these are just these are honorable mentions. But I'm gonna get into it later because when I start talking about who had really the best stuff, I want to give it justice. If I mention a Rhapsody, I want to give it justice. If I mention J. Cole, I want to give his music justice. If I mention um Master Ace, I want to give um their joints give it a level of interest when I'm talking about it. And also I may have some guests, you know what I mean? I'm keeping guests in the tuck as I may have certain artists come on and explain their music themselves. That's why I don't want to go too deep into the new Skyzoo because again, the source can explain it better than I can explain it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Well, we haven't put together the definitive list yet, but I'm gonna throw out some things that I enjoyed this year.
Yeah.
I think Marciology. I enjoyed
Okay.
that album. I
Fire.
enjoyed I enjoyed Pete Rock and Common Auditorium Volume 1. I thought that
That's
was a
in
dope
there.
I thought that was a
That's
dope album. Um I enjoyed yeah, Pete Rock and Common. I did. Um Corday. I enjoyed Corday's album. I thought Corday's
fire.
album was really dope. Um
The Force. LL Cool J, The Force.
MC Light's album was really dope. Um
The
I
Force
enjoyed
is real.
The Forest was
Yeah.
dope. But
Yeah.
again, albums I revisit this year was Marciology, Rock Marcy.
Oh,
I did enjoy Don't Scorch Me. Might Delete Later. I thought Might Delete Later was a dope mixtape. Um,
I mean, I got that
I
in there.
thought it was dope. So Might Delete Later. I enjoyed GNX. I enjoyed the Kendrick album. But
Right.
I haven't ranked it yet. I enjoyed the West Side Gun album. I thought that was cool. Um,
That's an honorable mention for me. It didn't make the list, but it's an honorable mention just
but
because I like
I did like Corday's album. I like the Rock Marcy. Rhapsody had a dope album. Um, I like Lotto's joint. Lotto's joint was cool. Glorilla had a nice joint.
I
Yeah,
want people to understand
Vultures
why.
one. Vultures one was dope. I enjoyed Vultures one. I think Vultures one had a couple joints on it. Had Carnival on it. It had the song
It gotta have more than
Vultures.
a couple.
It
A
had a couple.
couple
I'm
joints
saying
is not enough.
I'm not saying again. This is not the list. This is we don't have an
Right.
exhaustive, real list at the end of the. I'm just naming off the top of the dome albums that I like that came out in
Right.
2024. I like Might Delete Later. I like Rock Marciano Marciology. I like
Right.
the West Side Gun joint. Pete Rock in Common. That's another that's album I go back to and listen to. The Corday album I liked a lot. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I just want to give people some background on how I'm judging music, right? I'm not just listing music for the sake of listening. How I'm and how and I want to hear how people listen to music.
Oh,
Are you listening?
one second, Lee, before you go. I
Go
forgot
ahead, go ahead.
I just talked to Mike earlier today
Mm-hmm.
on my top 10 list of 2024. Soul Burger will be on there. It will be on there.
Fire.
I think it
Fire.
might and Soul Burger might be, if I'm being for real, and I'm not just saying this as cap because we interviewed homie a couple of days
No, no.
ago. It might make my top 5 album of 2024.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Absolutely.
I really think it might. It's hovering around there. I gotta line it up. I
I'm
gotta
not
line
mad.
I gotta line it up. A Soul Burger might
Um,
be around that area. But go ahead, Leroy. Sorry to cut you off.
somebody mentioned Samurai. Here would be the craziest play. If 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 we got Lupe to play y'all unreleased stuff where he's really going for it, the stuff you don't hear, because that stuff is so insane that though that would be the major play. But things are in the work. But I want to get people to see how I'm judging the music, like how. And you have two different type of fans here in according to hip hop land or the pod space. You have the traditionalists who want music like what they've heard in the past, or someone like me who wants to hear an artist go in a different direction. See, the reason why I like Absol's album is because it's not even an Absol album. It's a Soul Burger album. Soul Burger is a new artist. You know what I mean? The reason why I like LL's album because it's not an LL album. It's LL went left. So if you can go left, the reason why I'm probably gonna like Snoop's album, the reason why I really like that last single that he did, Another Side of Me or whatever, is because it's not supposed to go like that. Like sensual seduction back in the day, like that's not supposed to happen. So the fact Snoop can make a song that's not supposed to happen and pull it off, I'm grading high for that. You know what I mean? But I'm not mad at the traditionalists either, because again, I just heard the Skyzoo album. Skyzoo stayed with what he does best, and I'm not mad at that. I just heard Boldy James. Boldy James stayed to what he does best. I'm not mad at that, but I'm just giving some background to how I listen to music. You know what I mean?
All
And
right.
also, I listen for what's there. Like I listen to an album for what it is, not for what I want it to be. You know what I mean? So
What
if
you mean by that? What you mean by that?
like like if you get a Jay-Z record, right? Your people want it to be this. So when he gives you something that's completely different, they're like, "Oh, it's trash." Well, I'm judging off what I got, not what I want it to be. When Snoop drops an album, people be like, people got their comments already on Snoop, and I'm not mad because everybody's right to have their own opinion. But what are y'all expecting from Snoop Dogg? Like, if you're not, if you're now, again, I'm from California. We have barbecues just because it's Wednesday. Like, we need no reason to have a barbecue. We'll have a barbecue when it's freezing outside. Like, some stuff that makes no sense, right? So when I listen to a Snoop Dogg album, I gotta be at a barbecue. If I'm not, then it's not a Snoop album to me. When Dog Pound came out, I was at a barbecue. Cause where else would I be listening to Dog Pound? So music has a certain like setting. Now, if you're gonna listen to the Snoop Dogg album by yourself in your headphones, I'm not mad at you, but I'm just saying that's not how I haven't listened to a Snoop Dogg album like that since 1990 something. For the last 25 years, if I'm listening to Snoop Dogg, it's in a it's in a gathering, a party setting. Cause how else would I be listening to Snoop Dogg? You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion, and you don't have to agree. I'm just saying his music sounds a certain way. It sounds like you should be celebrating while you're listening to Snoop Dogg, or else you're not getting it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, I get it, but I mean, I get the music, but what if I just don't think the music is? I just think the music, alright. You know what I mean? I think it's just cool.
That's
It's,
cool. That's cool, right? I mean, if you just think it's all right, then you think it's all right. But it's like, to me, and this may be controversial, right? Because I'm a bar head, I'm a lyrical head. I think the hardest test to pass is playing your music for a room of people, meaning like 10 plus people. I think that's the ultimate test because you got to get past 10 people. Now a lot of our music we listen to by ourselves. We'll go get a record, and the only judge we have on that music is our own opinion. And that's cool. I'm not knocking your solo opinion, but when you got to listen to an album with a group and each person has to give an opinion, that's a way harder test to pass. So I believe the reason why Snoop is who he is because he's more likely to satisfy a group setting with music where 99% of artists, you really only got to get past that one person. At your shows, you have just your fans. But Snoop, he's gonna you could pick any Snoop record and get a group of people that all from different backgrounds, all different nationalities, all different ages, all different type of persuasions politically or whatever. And they all gonna simultaneously rock with Snoop. That's very difficult.
no,
Jay was the same way. Jay was the same way back in the day.
I'm not
But that,
disagreeing with you when it comes to
yeah,
Snoop. I think it's stupid. I saw Snoop perform Amazon Music Live after the Black Friday game last week.
yeah.
I'm not disputing whether Snoop is dope and makes music that
Hmm.
resonates and spans generations. I just think these new songs are not as good to me. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I think they sound they're very polished songs, right? So maybe that's where he is in his career right now. He's in a polished state.
Yeah.
Um, it sounds like adult contemporary hip hop, but it's they're just cool songs. They're not like I'm not like blown away by the records. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's they're
Right.
not meant. Maybe they're
For
not
sure.
meant to blow us away. Maybe they're just meant to be grooves, and maybe that's what they are. You know what I mean? So
I mean, yeah. I mean, these songs are cool. They're not, now. I really like the last two. I thought Gorgeous was cool. The last two songs, I really like the hooks and I really like the beat. But again, I'm from the West Coast. What else am I supposed to really be? What am I supposed to say? But if people now, would I have liked to hear something reminiscent of 2001? Of course. But again, though, I think Snoop is who he is for a certain reason. Like, um, he makes iconic music. He's an icon. If he just focused on Crips, I'm gonna make music for Crips. That is a narrow box. You know what I mean? If he focused on I'm gonna make music just for engineer heads that are fans of Dr. Dre, that's also a narrow box. Snoop is gonna. I think the hardest route to go, even though people think it's the easiest, I think it's actually harder to get masses of people to all enjoy your music. I think that's very difficult. You know what I mean? Honestly, just as a writer, as a person who's got to pick certain beats, certain deliveries and cadences. If you go out here and millions of people are giving it up, I think that's very hard to pull that off musically. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah,
Again, we'll see. The album comes out next week. Fat Joe comes out next week too. So we'll see
I
what
didn't
Joey
know that.
Crack got. Joey Crack got cooked up.
Oh crap,
So that'll be
Cartagena.
interesting.
People
Now,
say Joey don't have a classic. Don Cartagena is a classic. That's his classic album. Okay, Don Cartagena. You know what I mean? We'll revisit that maybe when we talk about Shyne later. But you know what I mean? Wherever you want to go, or the Gladiator, or Skyzoo, wherever you want to go, I'm here.
well,
You know what I mean?
let's go to Skyzoo real quick before we go to the according to hip hop goes to the movies. I watched the Meg the Stallion documentary. Leroy watched the Shyne documentary. We want to review Gladiator II. But before we get into that, let's go to Skyzoo. You heard the Skyzoo project. What'd you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, first, I'm a Skyzoo fan, and I was gonna get on here and talk about pattern language, phonetic architecture. I was gonna get into a bag of what he did on his last song on the album, right? Where he was just talking about his process. But I'm gonna swing back to that. But as far as Skyzoo, the artist, right? I'm gonna give him high praise right now. So I'm just preparing y'all now, right? When Jay-Z started Rock Nation and he went with J. Cole, I got no issue with that pick. I mean, everybody who was dope deserves a shot. I felt like maybe Skyzoo was the better choice. Now again, I'm a barhead. I know people will be like, hold on, but Skyzoo can't make the hit records. Again, I was just listening for my hip hop ear. That's all. But when we talk about the aesthetics of a Jay-Z, I think Skyzoo is probably the closest we have seen, but it's just that he has that Nas in him too, and I think he's a middle ground, right? But as far as the music is concerned, dope album. I if Ease is out there, there's another guy in the pod space, Ease. He was talking about just the sound of it and it being the sound of New York. Now I can't say that I think that's the sound of New York anymore. If you would have told me something closer to Griselda, okay. But I get it, but I did like the album. I like Courtesy Call with Chuck D. I like Drug Free School Zone. I like um I like the album, you know what I mean, for the most part. The song he had about the girl that, he meets in the record store, she's trying to tell him that she got spots, by the record store. I thought that was fire. Let me pull up the track listen real quick, man. And pardon me. Usually I'm very in tune with these albums. Thanksgiving, it was a lot going on, man. And let me get out the excuse bag. There was a lot going on Thanksgiving, but the album overall, I did feel it. He starts out with the it kind of has a Spike Lee-ish type of sound, like Spike Lee. And he has the Nas intro where Nas is talking about uh just his choices as a young man coming out as an artist. In his mind, he feels like, yo, it's either the music or the streets. Which one am I gonna do? And I can see that perspective. So he starts off from there. I appreciated that. The album does have a jazz aesthetic. Like I said a few shows ago, I am trying to get into that just to try to crack the code on exactly what it is about that, right? But the Allende at March, shout out to another artist, Joe Allende. I think, dude, is like super incredible. But that's another story. But Allende at March, the Million Man March, right? The reason why I was talking about making a choice, because if you go back to the Million Man March in essence was about making a choice about which path are we going to go down as black men. We are either going to go down the path of gangsta or civilized. So pick. What are we? That was what the Million Man March really, what it really at essence was about. So I like that track. Esoteric, that was dope. But and the last song, Jazz in the Projects, he kind of I like that, man. And his music really did set a certain tone. But as far as his writing goes, I haven't been able to crack the code on what exactly Sky is doing, because he's throwing frisbees. That he throws the frisbee rhyme. So what I mean by that is, okay, he'll throw a line, and you could tell the line is building off the line before it, which connects to the line after it, et cetera, et cetera. But there's some reference in it that's kind of like a frisbee. It could it could go right over your head like that. So I would really like to talk to the brother about his writing process. So until I get that opportunity, I'm gonna kind of park it from here. But I did enjoy the album, and Skyzoo is doing what Skyzoo does, what I can appreciate about his music. So if y'all haven't heard "Keep Me Company," go check it out, man. Yeah, I did enjoy it. Just put it on, let it run. You know what I mean? It was dope.
Yeah, I thought the album was dope. I listened to it before the show. I got to go revisit it a little bit more. I was cooking dinner at the same time I was listening to the joint,
Yeah,
but it was good. The last song was the what was the last one? The jazz joint.
Passion the project.
Jazz in the Projects was dope. I like the one. What else did I like? The one. I like the one. Hold on. Where is that? Keep Me Company.
It's just a dope vibe.
Esoteric was dope.
I,
Record Store
I,
Day was dope. Drug Free School Zone was dope. And my favorite song on the album was Jazz in the Projects was the last song on the album. So I
yeah,
like Skyzoo. Skyzoo's been very consistent in what he does.
yeah.
I disagree with you. I got to push back. I think J. Cole was a good choice. Um, I think he was, but I think J. Cole's a little more versatile in what he can contribute. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, and damn, J. Cole got a song with damn Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it.
As far as hit making goes, J. Cole is now a hit maker. He's the guy you go to make hits. You know what I mean? Now people are gonna be like, no, he's the bar guy. If you check really what really makes J. Cole, it's because he's the hit factory. Now, does it in an era where music comes out all the time, it don't seem like that. In an era where he's just barring up on features, it don't seem like that. Now, Skyzoo is not the hit guy. However, I feel like if you put that in front of him, though, I feel like he's smooth enough to pull that off.
Right.
Now we haven't seen that. We didn't see that, but he wasn't plugged in to where that would make sense either. He's doing it off the strength of his fans, his lane, his hit what makes him special. I feel like if he was because J. Cole, he wasn't the hit guy. When J. Cole was got with Jay, when Jay and J. Cole got together, J. Cole was a spitter. He was not the guy that is going to be on the radio. But based on the where you're at and what you have to provide, he became the guy who can make hit records. So I believe if that was put on Sky, I believe he's smooth enough to could have pulled. He probably could have pulled that off in my brain.
Right.
You know.
Right. You brought up the Million Man March. That was such an interesting time in the world, man, because that was back when they had talk shows. You had Montel Williams and Sally Jesse Raphael, Geraldo. The Nation
Right.
of Islam would go on these shows and like people have conversations with. I
Right.
remember Farrakhan was on Donahue's show a couple times. Khalid Muhammad was on the show. I think
Yeah.
Khalid Muhammad had like the Million Youth March in New York that was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Before he split off and left the nation. But it was just an interesting time in society where Farrakhan would be on Meet the Press. These are mainstream media outlets. You know what I'm saying? 60 Minutes talking to Mike Wallace, and
I
people
mean,
from both sides would talk to one
Yeah.
another. You know what I'm saying? It was just a different. It was a different time.
Yeah.
These conversations are mainstream conversations. Now these conversations are like locked in echo chambers,
Yeah.
and it's kind of split. You know what I mean? So it's
Farrakhan,
interesting.
yeah. Farrakhan is a master class on how you can debate 100 people and they're all coming with their anger and venom, and how you correct them, stand on your square, you don't bend at all, whether cameras is on, whether it's not on, and you check the whole audience. With a whole audience going against you, you check at the whole audience with what you have to say, and it's based in the truth, while what they're saying is based in hatred. Now, people who want to go back and watch them when Farrakhan was on Donahue and see how he handled himself in that arena where it's 100 versus one. He's up there by himself, and nobody likes him. You know what I mean? In that audience, he has a few supporters, but what I mean is they're coming with anger and venom, and he's correcting them and stands on the square. It's a master class on how to do that. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about the arena when I get to Gladiator. You know
Let's
what I
get to
mean?
it. Let's
But
get to it. Let's get to Gladiator. Let's get to Gladiator because I
you want to
saw it
go
last
there?
night. I saw it last night. Let me
Yeah,
say, I don't think it was, nothing really matched the original. It didn't match the original. I thought it had the
of
spirit of
course.
the original, but I think it borrowed some of the elements of the original. But as far as
Yeah,
the pacing of it, I think the pacing of the movie was a little rushed, in my opinion. The first movie had the ability to be a story where it had beats. When you build cinema has beats and has breaths and moments. The actors had more room to breathe in the first when the story could unfold. I don't think the score. I'm getting real cinematic nerdish right now. The score that Hans Zimmer did in the first film wasn't as dope in the second film, but I thought the performances were pretty good.
yeah.
I think a lot of the performance, including Denzel's performance, was dope. I would recommend the film. Again, it doesn't live up to the original. What could? But I thought it was a good story. And it showed a lot of different things. How Rome was moving. It depicted some interesting tidbits. We'll touch on in a little bit. But overall, if I'm giving it A through F score, a grade, I'm gonna give it a B. My wife asked me what I think of it. I'm gonna give it a B minus. I'm gonna give it a B minus.
That's
Um,
cool.
it had big
That's
shoes
cool.
to it had big shoes to fill. I
Of
think.
course, yeah. I mean, Gladiator One is that's I mean, legendary classic. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What did you think about
Go
the
ahead.
movie? What did you think about the movie?
Last point. RJ said Farrakhan hasn't converted the masses. Yes, he has. Whatever metric Farrakhan is on, he's way past that. What you think he is? It's just that we live in an era where the news tells you what to think about someone. So you think Farrakhan ain't got no influence out here because the news never told me he does. But if there was a list of people who have made a positive change in their life because of something Farrakhan said, that list would be so insane. How many people are on that list? It would be about masses of people. You know what I mean? So I know that we people don't like Farrakhan. They have an issue. That's fine, but his real true record will never be out there because that's not going to be out there. Now, I don't know how many masses is, whether you're talking about 100,000, 500,000, a million, 2 million, 3 million, but whatever the case may be, in the last 50 years, how many people have made a positive change because of that nation that he's led? It would have to be an insane number. You know what I mean? Around the world. But anyway, getting back to Gladiator. Okay, movies are symbolic. Now, whether people believe they are or not, you could look at the intention behind putting a movie together, right? When a movie is done, they have the credits. When you watch the credits, you see it's 1,000 people behind that movie. That means the movie is intentional, right? Everything you're seeing is intentional. And these people are highly intelligent. They're not just throwing together stuff for no reason. You know what I mean? So I only have really four points. They could be big or small, but the reason why I feel these things are important is because we have to know. And again, the person is saying he's oh well, it
We'll,
doesn't even
we'll,
matter
come,
what.
we'll come back to that. Stay
Yeah,
stay
it's
on
cool. It's
point.
cool. It's cool. You're not gonna because people think you have to accept a religion to turn your life around. You don't really have to accept a religion. You
We'll
could
come
just
back.
turn your
We'll
life
come
around.
back to that.
But
Stay on
that's
time.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Now, the movie. I only have really four small points. Movies are intentional. Again, okay, so the movie starts Rome invading Africa, right? And the reason why this is important is for anthropological argument. How did we get here? How did I end up in this seat? How did Ron end up in that seat? How did we end up in this country? So I'll let y'all figure it out. I'm not gonna go into that. So Rome is invading Africa. The main character, and if you remember in part one, there's always a black man standing next to Maximus in several scenes. So whose story are they telling really? Are they telling Maximus' story or are they telling the black guy's story? and making it Hollywood friendly. Okay, so Rome invading Africa, the main character is the grandson of Marcus Aurelius, who is the father that dies at the beginning of Gladiator 1. Names Marcus Aurelius are important because you get to see who the family was, right? And in Rome, you're dealing with a family becomes the rulers, and it goes down the line, etc., etc. Someone had to put that in place, right? Who put that in place? So again, so Rome is invading. You see the main character, a white guy, fighting for a black nation with a black king, and there's pyramids behind him. Y'all take it how you want to take it, but again, the people that put this stuff in movies, they are intentional about it, and it's not just thrown together. So now we'll get to that, right? We'll leave that there, right? Again, there are many black characters in the background that you'll see. Like a lot of these movies, they place black people all in the background. That's strategic.
Well, I mean, well,
Denzel,
before you go real quick, that could be historically
mm,
accurate because they were invading North Africa, right? And
of course,
Macrinus, he was a Moor.
yes,
Hannibal invaded Rome at one point, so they still black people were prevalent. Moors, black people, people of African origin were
yeah,
prevalent in Rome, trading. They were some of them were slaves, some of them were freemen, some of them were
right.
traders, businessmen, like Macrinus, Macrinus. But I mean, it was just they were prevalent throughout the film. But good, continue.
Right, right. And if you were Etruscan, just like if you were Egyptos or if you were Etruscan in Rome, you were probably a black person. You know what I mean? But today when we say slave, right? It would be like if I said inmate today back then or how it's characterized as slave, but however, whatever the case, or prisoner. But Denzel Washington, he plays Macrinus. He's the main character. He's somebody that is in Rome doing Roman stuff. But he at one point, and I'm not going to give spoilers away, so I know people still haven't seen it. At one point, he says, poetry, Lucius. He's talking to the main character there. He said, "I know you didn't learn that in Africa." That is a major shot against black people that Denzel made. Now Denzel, he knows the ramification behind what I'm saying, but he's there to play a role and he's going to do his job. But suggesting that poetry was not learned in Africa is a major shot against black people. Now if you look now today, my argument is that the greatest writers in human history have come out of hip hop culture. I can make that argument with any scholastic person from anywhere at any time. Now, if you have people like the rappers we have today who walking around with thousands of lyrics in their head, that's not normal. That is some genius level stuff that has never been seen on the planet. Okay, but again, so he's playing that character one major shot. He took two. Um, if you and Lucia's character, his mother, she was raised in a kind of a royal setting, but again, there's the family aspect there. So family control of Rome is reminiscent of an old republic that was put in place before there were Romans. So there was somebody there who set up Rome. And if you even study the architecture, there was a people there who established Rome, who established the architecture, who established the royal families. Who were those people? Like, who were those? And why are all these black people strategically placed in the story? Okay. But the last thing, the emperor was ruled by two brothers, right? So I'm sure you saw that part in the preview. At one point, one of the brothers is killed, and there's another brother, and he's electing people for council. He elects a monkey as member of council, and then he elects Denzel. That is a shot. You know what I mean? So I just so you know where you stand in the political world. In the movie, they elect a monkey to now the what they're really saying is the ruler is insane. And again, if you have if you study civilizations, Once that civilization gets to a point to where the rulers are insane, you start to see a decline in the civilization, right? Take it how you want to take it, right? When the rulers go insane, you start to see a decline. Now, again, these messages are strategic. They're not just there for no reason. So these are the only four notes I really had about the movie. Um, but again, even if the rulers are insane and things start to go left, that also opens the door for things to go right and things to go a different direction. What I'm saying is a choice has to be made. And I'm gonna get back to this choice when we talk about Shyne after that. But what the movie is saying now, again, at the movie, well, I don't want to give away the end, but what I'm saying in this culture, this is an arena. We have battles. We have an angry mob. I'm calling the fans an angry mob, but I'm really halfway joking, but not joking. But we have rulers. We have politics. We have gatekeepers. We're living in an arena. We have gladiators. You know what I mean? Rappers or whatever they may be. So when people say it's not that deep, it for 99% of people, it's not that deep. Hold on, Ron. Hold on.
I'm sorry, my
For
bad, my bad.
Yeah, for 99% of people, it doesn't have to be that deep. It's just a movie. But again, when you watch the end of movies and you see 1,000 people contributed to a movie, then you have to know everything is supremely strategic. And the messages that they are putting in your mind are very deliberate and intentional. So that's all I want to say. And black folks, we should know how to trace where we were, who we were, no matter in what country, what civilization, what time period. We should become detectives to trace what we were doing, where we did things right, where we did things wrong, because that will inform us on how we move going forward. That's all.
No
You know
doubt.
what I mean?
Let me. Would you? So, what's your overall grade for the movie? If you,
I would- I give it an A minus because the battle scenes was fire. Dude on the rhino, that was fire. The naval battle with the water and on the sharks in the water, the baboons coming out. Now, granted, you can't whoop a baboon. I'm sorry. If you ever get in a fight with a baboon, the baboon is winning. I'm sorry. I mean that was crazy. But even all of those things are symbolic. You know, we're still fighting. We're fighting a rhinoceros now. It's just not a real rhino. It's symbolic of a machine that's pushing back against our will. You know what I mean? So
right? Yeah, I give it a B minus. I thought the movie was cool. Again, shout out to the original film. I think the score could have been better. Um, I think I want to see a Hannibal movie. I think a Hannibal movie would be dope. They've been working on that for a long
oh,
time.
okay,
Vin
yeah,
Diesel, I think Denzel was attached to it many years ago, and then Vin
that'd
Diesel
be
was.
fine.
I think Vin Diesel was attached to it, but it never came out. I think The Rock was attached
I
to it at
mean,
one point. A
the
Hannibal movie
Hannah.
would be dope. Will be dope.
If they made a Hannibal Barker movie, right? You're looking at probably the greatest war story of all time. That was a war waged against Rome by a black man. If that is probably the greatest, again, probably the greatest military story of all time if they make that movie. So it's like, and we got to know these things, you know what I mean? So, and there's many. Our history is so crazy that if it ever gets told accurately, you people are not gonna believe that's us. But I'm just telling you, we have done some amazing stuff, man. That's crazy. So that's what I'm saying. This time is about decision making, is because I trust we're gonna make the right ones, and that's gonna, you know. But go ahead, finish before we get into Shyne. What
No, I
else?
would say if you ever are fortunate enough, if you ever find yourself in Italy, go to the Colosseum. I've been there. You can still feel the energy of the place. A lot of the grounds are still maintained, and a lot of the actual Colosseum still stands. Um,
Right.
it's a
As
work it's a
far as
workout. It's a workout. You know what I mean?
Huh. I would love to go see that. I never been. People were talking about the kissing scene that didn't make the movie, right? I'm glad it didn't make the movie. I don't want to see that, but and I know people are gonna get mad. They may have a way, feel a way. The context of what you think that kiss would have been about is not the context of what it really was. Now, again, no man should be kissing no other man, period. But if you remember, like the Godfather movie, when he kisses his brother before he has him knocked off, the context would have been similar to that. It would not have been a romantic that's not what the context of that would have been. But again, no, I'm glad it wasn't there, and we don't want. I don't personally want to see that, but I just want to make that known. You know what I mean?
Yo, but
So
one of the interesting things they told me, like you can still feel the energy of the building, right? So it's kind of weird when you go in and like the steps are very steep in there, and they said after the battles they would take the blood of the fighters and they would sell the blood and they would use it like women would like rub it on their faces and use it as makeups and they would use it as make perfumes out of it. It was just real wild like. But man, I check out the Coliseum if y'all in
I
Rome.
mean,
It's real dope.
barbarity, right? If we talk about being gangster is barbarity. Being gangster is um you throw morale out the window and you rule from violence. That's what being gangster is. If gangster is not steeped in violent activity, then then you ain't talking about nothing gangster. So again, in real life we are still living in a certain way. And back then it was a very barbaric time. So we people should make a decision. Do we like that? Because if people want to go that route, okay, cool. But I'm just saying, in 2025, we should make certain decisions, and that's my next point where I want to get to Shine too before I lose that
All
point.
right, we're gonna get to Sean, but I want to say if you doubt the African influence in Italy, just
Oh,
check out them Italian sisters and see how they built. You know what I'm saying? They built kind of, they kind of built,
whoa!
act in an Africana way, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Just check out them Italian sisters and see how they built. Then you could see
Shout
the
out to
African.
I
Shout out to
know a
who?
sister from Italy named Andrea. She's like the most gorgeous chick to me, man. I'm telling you, like, I wish I could show y'all Andrea, man. Like, she's a black chick from Italy. This chick is gorgeous, bro. Like, green eyes, natural blonde hair. That like it's some. It just wouldn't. It's like what? But and she's just super fine, bro. But I'm
Yeah,
not into the blondes, but you just don't see that. You
the
know what I mean?
Italians are something different. The Italians are something different. So shout out to the
Yeah.
Italians. Shout out to the Italians if you know what I mean. But go ahead. Let's talk about Sean. Let's talk about Sean. I hit you last night. I said, look, we gonna
Yeah.
take hip hop to the movies on some Cisco and Ebert shit tonight, right? I need you to
Mm.
watch a documentary. I'm gonna watch a doc. You saw the Shine documentary. What'd you think about the Shine joint?
I enjoyed it because it took me back to the 1999 2000 era. You know what I'm saying? So, but some key points. You have the relationship between him and Puff Daddy and how that business worked out. But the main thing I got out of it is just the transition, right? And earlier I asked, well, what is gangster? So you have both shines there, the before and after, and both can qualify as gangster. Before that, this show we talked about briefly about hip hop going into politics, right? I think that choice makes sense. Now, again, we're gonna have pushback against that. The people are gonna be like, "Well, this should just be about entertainment," or "There should be." If you're a successful artist, you have mastered all the things that a politician has mastered. Because to be a politician, you gotta master masses of people. To be an artist, you gotta master masses of people. So, but I like the transformation Shine has been able to make. You know what I mean? So, but it was good. It goes back into his early days rapping. Then he delivered mail. He always was spitting his freestyles around town. People got to know him for his freestyles. He makes it to Bad Boy, whatever. He finally gets one with the hit record, with the Bad Boy record. Then of course what happened in the club that night, which landed him in prison. and how we dealt with that, and his issues with like the likes of Junior Mafia, things like that. He comes back, he gets deported to Belize, but long story short, he becomes a voice for the people in Belize, right? So it's like a lot of times in hip hop for the last, and like we were talking about when Servan was here too. We have been pushing a gangster line in hip hop for 40 years or 35 at least. We've been pushing a gangster line. At what point do we make a turn? And if we do make a turn, where are we going? Because you know what I mean? Now at the end of the day, people have this thing about being real. Well, if we're really gangster, then we should separate from hip hop at this point in 2025, in my opinion, because I don't think the space of the two occupying is holding hip hop in the right light. Now I know people are going to disagree with that because they're like, "Oh, we came from the street, yada yada yada." That's fine. I believe we come from making music, right, and making art. But in my opinion, I think the whole gangster thing has ran its course, and I think we need to make a turn. Well, where are we making a turn to, Leroy? I think that that transformation that you see Shine go through is the same type of transformation hip hop should go through, right? So it's almost Malcolm X-ish, right? But you have somebody who finds religion. And again, I got no problem with whatever religion. If religion makes you an upstanding person, then that's all I care about. I don't even care which religion it was. As long as it keeps you safe and makes you an upstanding person. Then he shifts into politics, right? Now you have a now you have ways of dealing with politics, and you have a disdain for politics and hip hop culture. But however, what are we supposed to do with all this influence? Hip hop has so much influence that what are we supposed to do with it? Are we only supposed to sell records with that influence? Because we're wielding a lot of power, like a lot of political power with hip hop, and we're just like not trying to use it.
Well,
So
I
I
gotta push. I gotta push back because
think,
I think hip hop has opened the doors for people to do a lot of different things besides the music. Like, look at fashion. Like, look at cinema. Look at television. Look
yeah,
at the arts. Look at how people express themselves in sports. Look at politics. Kwame Kilpatrick was the first quote unquote hip hop mayor. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop
yeah,
is infused this way across the globe, even in food and fashion and film.
I hear that.
So I think
I
that
hear that.
influence permeates throughout society. Um,
Right.
I just think it does. You know what I'm saying?
No, it does do that, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But Shine's job is to deliver economic power to the people, education to the people, healthcare to the people, so jobs to the people. See, he's wielding a different kind of power. Now granted, it's on a smaller scale because we're dealing with Belize. It's on a smaller scale, but what I'm saying, in America, hip-hop is wielding such power that yes, we could sell t-shirts, we could sell CDs, we could sell sneakers, we could sell colognes, we could sell all type of stuff. But if we wanted to wield it into something else, with economic power, into education power, into jobs, we could wield that power in that direction because hip hop is now strong enough to do that. So now what I'm saying, that to me is the harder gangster fight. Let me explain for those why I'm going this gangster angle, right? If you're claiming gangster, right? Gangster's not about being nice. That's not gonna get you nowhere as a gangster. Gangster means I can show you a neighborhood where I enforce a power over this neighborhood. And the power is held down by force. I'm not asking people. I'm forcing them to do what I want them to do. That is what a gangster is for people that are confused. It's force. It's not asking. Now, political is almost like you're it's almost like that, but it's not necessarily force. You have to do it, you have to persuade people by what is in their best interest, or that's what you're selling them. You might be lying, but you're trying to wield a different kind of power. The reason why I say this is because if we keep wielding this whole like gangster thing, it has become more destructive than constructive. So where are we gonna go? You know what I mean? What are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Are we gonna, they're coming down, like you see Young Thug, what happened to them? Like the people getting tired of that. You know what I mean? So I know we want to keep, because we got to be tough. We all have to be tough to make ourselves feel good. But the harder fight, I think, would be what a Shyne is doing. Shyne cannot just help his people with force anymore. He can't just wave a gun in the air and say, "Do what I." He can't do that. He's going to have to use a level of intellect. You know what I mean? So I think that's where we should go, because as an artist, you're already doing that anyway. When you write your songs, when you make your album, when you go on your tour, you are operating like a politician. You know what I mean? It's just that you're doing it artistically. So you're already wielding and already honing that craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I mean, he grew up, man. He's in a different phase of his life right now. So, Shyne is an elder statesman in hip hop, and he's not the same Shyne that was, back in 1999. Sean Poe that dropped the commission, which I enjoyed his first album. I think his first album was really slept on. I think you got the song "The Commission," you got
yeah,
"That's Gangsta," you got Bonnie and Shine, you got "Bad Boy," you got "Dear America,"
yeah,
you got a lot of records on that first joint. So I like what Shine, his first record. Subsequent album when he went to Def Jam, I didn't like those because he was locked
yeah.
up. He was trying to, I think he had hooked up with Murder Inc. for a little bit. He was trying to do something with Irv Gotti, but
It, it
it's good to see Sean grow to what he transition into what he transitioned to after doing that bid um, wrongly. He says he was falsely convicted or falsely um,
right,
tried on that case, but it's good seeing him put on for his people and using his platform to do good for his community. So
right.
shout out to Sean. So I ain't got no quarrels with that.
Yeah, that, and do it in the chat is saying I'm not the first person to say that. But no, people have been saying that. Your mama said that back in the day when you was a little kid, I'm sure. So people have said that a long time ago, of course. But you go out in your own community and say, "Yo, I think hip hop should disconnect from the streets, from gangsta, it's hardcore." People gonna look at you like you crazy. Like, bro, it's not hip hop if it's not the streets. That's really how they really feel. If it's not gangster, if it's not the street, if it's not hard, it ain't really hip hop. So you tell me, if you know what I mean. If what I'm saying has been said so many times, you go out in your community and see the reaction you get to what I'm saying.
Well, I
People gonna
think
say if it ain't street, it's not hip hop.
no, I don't.
That
I don't think people say that because what was Public Enemy Street Records was A Tribe Called Quest, Dead Presidents, um, Black Sheep, Diggable Planets. I mean, hip hop is multiple facets. Streets is a part of hip hop because people use hip hop to get out of the streets or express the reality of the streets that they live in. And it was commodified by record labels who package it up, and some people say in a deceptive way, in a manipulative way, in a degrading way, package the pain of our communities and pack and sold it, via music, right? So, with some artists
yeah,
use the streets as a vehicle to disseminate their message and to escape those streets. But I don't think hip hop is just synonymous with the streets because you have different elements. Kanye West ain't the streets. You know what I'm saying? Common
right,
makes street music, but he's not. He knows the Chi-Town streets, but he's not street. You got the Roots. You got people that understand the streets because we all have people that we know in different communities that understand that element. Even if you're from the suburbs or you from wherever you from, you still got
yeah,
people that you got family. So it's not synonymous. I think when you go to the community and ask them, is hip hop street? Some of it is, but not all of it. And I think that's the beauty of hip hop
that,
because it's so
yeah,
diverse and so many different stories have been told within hip hop. Again, you got A Tribe Called Quest, you got You
Of
know,
course, of course.
you got Scarface, who's
Yeah,
one of the horrorcore rappers talking about the streets of Houston, but is a little bit more intimate in the way he approaches the record. It's like A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die is a street record, but it's more introspective. It's telling us the realities of the streets. Ice T. So I think you,
uh,
I think
yeah. I'm not taking a
it's not
shot.
all of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not taking a shot against the streets. That's not what my that whole diet. It's not that I'm against the streets, but let's take it into the political realm, like Shyne is showing in the film. Right, in politics, the streets are involved. Gangsters are involved in politics. It's just that they're not on Front Street. They play. They are silent in politics. The gangsters don't. They don't let you know that they're there. Do you see what I'm saying? So in hip hop, yes, it's always going to be connected to the streets, but for the sake of a bill getting passed, for the sake of a local election, the gangsters don't they lean back. They're not on Front Street because they don't want to muddy the water with violence. You feel me? So in hip hop, I'm not saying the gangsters should need to leave it alone. I'm just saying let a different perspective rock, and then y'all just play your position, because it would be different if it was a way that that power could be wielded so we could take a step forward. But I think that it has become a way to where it's a Shine situation. It actually lands more people behind some bars than it does in the seat of a puff. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying, man. You know what I mean? And if we I think and I'm gonna keep saying it, I'm not in different ways, but I'm using different things. Like again, the gladiator is about a shift. Ultimately, gladiator is about a shift in many ways, right? In ways of thinking and power. The Shine documentary is about a shift in the way of thinking and power, right? He changed his way of thinking. He wouldn't be doing what he's doing now in Young Shine. He changed. So I'm saying hip hop is now 50. Hip hop is a 50-year-old person, if we want to personify it. At what point does it say, well, now I'm gonna go in a different direction? That's all. You know what I mean? Because I think hip hop becomes double as powerful. If you think about how powerful hip hop is right now, I think it doubles its power and influence if we go in a different direction. But I think the because no one expects that. No one expects hip hop to put down its G card. No one ever expected that. Now, if that happens and we say, you know what, we still real people, but now we about like we gonna jump off into politics, we gonna jump off into business and ownership, and we gonna put the G card down. The world would not expect that, and they would come running to see what are we doing, what are we thinking, and what do we have in mind? Because for their whole lives, all we've really been giving them really is the G card. Yes, we have Kanye West. Yes, we have Tribe Called Quest. But when people think about hip hop, they be thinking about 50 Cent. They be thinking about they be, the toughest guys they could think of. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not against that. But if we're going to go to another level, I think hip hop should just relax for a little bit. And it's Snoop. Snoop's not out here banging like he was banging. I mean, he makes bangers, but he ain't banging. And that's strategic for a reason. And you see, he's only climbing. He's only climbing. Jay, he ain't, he ain't flipping no birds, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's only climbing. I say that to say, if hip hop relax for a minute and focus on the business and the message, like a Kendrick Lamar, I think that will be shocking to the world, to the point to where and I think the money, that if it's about money, right? Since we make everything about money, I think once people are feel safe, and yes, the music will be a little softer. Yes, I'm sorry, y'all. The music won't be as drilly as it is. I'm sorry, y'all. But I think that will start to work in our benefit as a culture. Honestly, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, because the music is so easily made now with social media and all the DSPs. Again, I was having a conversation with Mike today. I disagree with my brother Servan. We had a point on one of our earlier shows last week. He was saying that this generation, this drill rappers that are actually naming people they've actually killed on records, um, is
Right.
an escalation or is just a reflection of the generation before it. But my counter argument is that these kids ain't listening. This is what we grew up on. So how did it leap from, rappers having beef,
Right.
you might be flagging on your record to all of a sudden now you actually naming people you've actually killed on records. Where was the jump? You know what I'm
That's
saying? How
that's
do
a
we
no
how
go.
how do we get there? Especially these kids weren't ain't listening to damn uh Ice T and Cube and NWA. These kids are 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. So what
Yeah.
was the
Well,
bridge? How did this music? And one only thing that what Mike concluded, which I agree with, is it's the easy to make music now, and there's no way to control the
yeah.
music because you can just put it out. I can make a song tonight, put it on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, and I can talk about that. My op that I smoked on the
Well,
block around the corner. It's just easy. So I think there's no really
I
no
mean,
A and R's. There's no A&Rs. There's no
I
managers
think
that's
it's
really
a cash
helping these
grab.
kids. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a cash grab too, though, because if I can show you some barbarity, I can make millions of dollars showing you that, because that's gonna get the eyes. It's like I'll just show you barbarity, and now everyone's gonna come running to pay me. So that's a cash grab. Now I ain't talking about the artists. I'm talking about the companies. If I own one of these companies, I'm more likely not from this culture, and my kids is gonna be fine. Y'all wipe each other out. I don't care as long as I get paid. Y'all wipe it, and I'm gonna promote you wiping each other out because that keeps me paid. You know what I mean? So that's a cash grab. You know what I mean? Now the reason why I say that is because let's say it was a different group of people doing that, all thing it would come to a stop immediately. That it wouldn't last for 24 hours. If another group of people, if a bunch of white folks said we're gonna make drill music now, and they started drilling each other, the whole entertainment industry would put a red flag on that. It would stop immediately because they're not co-signing that. But being that is us, they're like, yeah, let them wipe each other out. You know, we ain't tripping. You know what I mean? So that's what I think, and it's this whole mentality of the youth get to be in charge of the adults. I don't believe that. Like in hip hop, what's a youth driven or the youth have to lead the like. Nah, where I'm from, the adults really have the say over the youth. You know what I mean? Because they're the adults. So it's like, and again, when hip hop went to what Servan was saying, hip hop just came outside. If we're talking about the '90s, hip hop just literally came outside in the '90s. So what you think people really know what they're doing, they're really winging it. Because for a young Ice Cube, how many examples does he really have? For a young LL Cool J, how many examples does LL Cool J really have? They're coming out for the first time in the street in the
But,
world. They
but
don't
I'm s-
they're
but,
winging it.
but I'm saying it's just shifted because I was telling Mike earlier. I mean, back in the day, you could be a gangster, but you had some fly shit on. You know what I'm saying? You had the girls in the video. You drove nice cars. Now it's just videos with these young kids with guns, like 20 dudes. Where the women at? You know what I'm saying? What's it's like? I don't want to be, the
Right, yeah,
kids.
no,
I don't want to be around 20 dudes waving pistols. I mean, what how is that cool? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get who's teaching these kids. And I want to talk put my money where my mouth is. I want to go up there and kind of go even in Atlanta, talk to some of these kids and find out what's making this music because I think it's a demonic spirit in the music. And I hate to be spiritual, but I think it's a demonic spirit because a lot of these people ain't really making no money. So it's not that these record labels or pouring money into this. This stuff is being made on a phone and uploaded tonight. So there's no money being made. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
right.
So what? Where
I,
is the spirit coming from? And how do we fix it? Because I don't think you could blame our generation for what has happened
right.
with this one. I don't. I think it's something else that's happening. And the only thing I can think of is social media, and the way it's easy to proliferate music via DSPs and
Okay.
technology.
I mean, true, true. I would say also, anytime you get somebody that's not getting no money, they're automatically going to turn demonic. because I'm pissed. If I'm not getting to no paper, I'm automatically pissed right there.
Once you're 15,
So it
16 years old, you're not supposed to be getting to no paper. You're
that
supposed to be getting to some books at school.
But I gotta know that. I gotta know that. If I'm listening to the music and you keep telling me, get to the bag, get to the bag, get to the bag, then I'm only thinking, get to the bag. You know, that's really all I'm thinking. And our generation was like that. We was like that. But I'm just saying, as far as in my opinion, a demonic spirit, and people could disagree, but I think anytime people ain't really getting to no paper, it's going to make them edgy. It's going to make them edgy because the first time they have a conflict, especially if it's about money and they don't really have it like that, they're going to go overboard trying to defend, protect, or gain because they really not getting it like that anyway. And the money is just the tool. It's not just the money, but the money is the tool used to create certain comforts
They're
and
not getting an
certain
They're not getting an education because at 16,
and
17, they ain't supposed to be getting to
that
no
too.
money. They're supposed to be working
Oh,
at damn. When I was 16, 17, I worked at Taco Bell and Kroger. You know what I'm saying? You ain't
right.
supposed to be. You supposed to be.
I worked at
If
the movie theater and a record store.
if you feel like you got to get money, that's a parental thing that parents have
Yeah,
failed them because their parents should be providing for them while they get their minds educated and socialized and
right.
holler at a
So
young lady, get your first, go to the school dance, play basketball, play sports, play music,
right,
play in the marching band. But making records at at this age, naming people that you've actually
of course,
killed,
yeah.
it's
That's crazy.
there's a disconnect here. There's a
Yeah.
disconnect.
So musically, how to help that? When I back in the a few months ago, we talked about the need for a certain music getting back to courting a female. The music being so where you play the music, it sets the energy for that. We just talked about Skyzoo, a certain type of music, it sets a certain type of tone. Now, again, the music, it sets a tone. Now, if we keep setting a certain kind of tone and we keep getting certain kind of results, then we should probably change the tone. You know what I mean? Now, I can't go out and preach to the youth. You should probably get an education because you're gonna be like, bro, get out my face unless you're talking to me about some paper. Period. That's all it's gonna be. So the music is gonna have to set the tone where I can't set that because they can't argue with music. They could argue with me because I'm standing there, but they can't argue with sound. You know what I mean? If a certain sound and a certain perspective starts to take hold, well, then people will say, well, maybe I should be educated. Maybe I should get my act together because the music is letting me know that I should probably do that. But see, where is that music in the mainstream? Where is the music that now Kendrick is there? Shout out to the good kid in the Mad City, but he can't lift all that weight by himself. You know what I mean? J. Cole is there. He can't lift all that weight with just them two. You know what I mean? Drake is there, but that's a different type of energy. But what I mean is like we should continue if we see those three that were supposed to be the big three, right? They became the big three for a reason. So we should look at that and say, well, what are they doing that's making them so mega popular and making their music move a certain what is the culture saying that it needs and it appreciates? You know what I mean? And we should go that route. Now again, I like gangster music. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I'm still in my barbarian. You know what I'm saying? However, I'm just talking about a movement in a certain way because I could list a bunch of albums where the music is already going that way, whether people want it, however you feel about it. Rhapsody is outside. Lupe is outside. Vince Staples is outside. Common Sense is outside. LL Cool J's outside. What are we what if we're already going in a direction that's showing you a shift is already happening? So I'm just talking about where we should probably continue to go. You know what I'm saying? Before we backslide and go someplace else. Even Benny the Butcher got jewels in his music. Now, even he got jewels about getting your mind right. You know, so I think we need to continue that. I don't want to make it sound like it's nobody out here or it's all doom and gloom. But I
Right.
think a conscious, someone saying, look, we're consciously now going in another direction is only gonna lead to a more stronger, better culture. That's all. Because I think that whole last era we come from, I think that was a play on how to shake us out of our money, shake us out of our culture's power, and to get us behind bars. I think that was a play because, if it was the gangsters, really, they don't even really like to be on camera or be talking, or they used to be like that. Like, don't film me, bro. I'm really active. But now it's different. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no
So
doubt. Well, man, we gonna have to do a deeper dive on this, man. And we had a good show tonight. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you tap in with us. We gonna be here every Wednesday. We gonna probably change the show format a little bit. We may have I may rotate out. Maybe Leroy will be with somebody else. Maybe we'll have live
okay,
call-ins on Wednesday. We want to make the shows different than the ones on Saturday, the weekend rhyme. So we'll figure out. William, Leroy, and Mike will all discuss how we'll make the Wednesday show a little bit of different experience. Where we can talk about different things. Maybe we'll talk about the periphery of hip hop culture. Talk about more politics,
yeah,
business, health,
yeah,
film, fashion. We might talk about some things on the periphery of hip hop as opposed to just
exactly.
music. Maybe it'll be like a call-in show. We'll figure it out.
We
But we want
still, yeah, the music is still there. The only thing we didn't really cover was Boldy James today. But we went into the Skyzoo. We went into a little bit of Jay and Drake. We went into Snoop. We went. I gave y'all a list of albums that I'm considering for that album of the year slot. I named like 15 different people, so that we still having that music discussion. So it's still part of music, but for us to act like it's just music and nothing else is connected to that, I think we're doing a disservice.
yo, and if
So
you could take a second of your day, just hit like that hits the algorithm. Make
that's
sure you leave a comment what you liked, you didn't like about the show. If you got some albums that you're thinking about an album of the year, put it in the comments. Let us know what you thought about Gladiator 2. I'll talk about the Megan Thee Stallion documentary on Saturday or Sunday, and also I want to talk about the legacy of Pimp C as well. So we'll have a good conversation. Sports, we're
and
always gonna talk
questions
about that. Go ahead, Leroy. What's up?
and questions, artists that you would like to see on the show, and questions that you would like for them to answer. That would help. That would really go a long way. And because you though you may see the artist that you're asking these questions on, they can be on the show, and those questions can be asked, I mean, in real life, you know what I mean? So I mean, send those questions like, look, we want to ask this artist this, or that, so that information could get sent to their team, and that can be made to happen. It's all a green light. I'm not going to get into the details of nothing, but it's all a green light, really, on as far as I'm concerned. So whoever y'all want to see here, or whatever questions y'all want to ask, let me know, and so because I'm asking them. You
Right
know what I
now,
mean?
and just to give y'all a sneak peek, we're working on getting the Killer Mike interview lined up. The Nappy Roots interview. Oh, I didn't talk about the Nappy Roots. Nappy Roots just dropped an EP. Before we go, I want to make sure I give them their props. They just dropped the EP the other day. Dope project, man. It's again these guys. They got a really dope brewery in Atlanta called Atlantucky. Really beautiful spot, man. One of the best. A lot of artists have spots, but their spot in Atlanta is super dope. It's right downtown, right near the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Falcons play. Really, really cool spot. The beer is pretty good. But they had a new EP out that they just put out. It's called, what is it called? It's an EP that just came out. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Oh,
But I heard it
I'm gonna check
today,
it out.
and it was dope. It was really dope. It's got a couple songs called "Howling at the Moon" on it. Home Fried was on this joint. A song called "Kiss
Yeah.
the Sky." It's really southern. I mean, it's really. When I talked to them the other day, I said you really can't tell the story of, because some of these cats are from Georgia. Well, most of them from Kentucky. You really can't
Mhm.
tell the story of hip hop without really talking about the Nappy Roots. You know what I'm saying? Nappy Roots was a dope group, really slept on, right? These brothers are really saying something in their rhymes. So check out their EP. What's the name of the damn EP, man? But they got it. It's a dope project. 5 songs.
Yeah.
They got an album coming out. Um, it's gonna be dope. I think it's gonna be dope. So yeah, interview with them is coming up
Yeah,
shortly.
for
That's
sure.
that's already in the can. That's being edited right now. But yeah,
No
Nappy
doubt.
Roots are dope, man. Shout out to Skinny. Shout out to Scales.
Fine.
Again, this is some grown man hip hop. It's country hip hop. It's southern hip hop, but it's rooted in
Man,
it's rooted in the realness, right? These guys are talking about their family. They're talking about being about their business. Beautiful place in Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta, check out Atlantucky Brewery. It's just really cool group, man. And a lot of people don't talk about them, but I want to make sure I give them their flowers and shout them out.
No doubt. I'm watching the pod space and everybody in the pod space. Most topics are not going to deal with the topics we're going to deal with because it's not a bottom, it doesn't connect to the bottom line for them. But I'm just saying, at some point, the culture is going to have to make a decision. Is it going to be materialism or something else? Now, again, I don't. Whatever y'all want to pick is cool, and whatever people want to cover is cool. I get it. This is not a shot because I don't get no points for no fake shots. However, somebody needs to cover a wider spectrum than what is always just being talked about as the most popular thing. So, and I've been like this. Yeah, I've been talking about different type of artists, different type of bars, different type of content, and different type of cultural things since I was in the comments. So we're gonna keep it moving, man.
No doubt. Well, check out the Nappy Roots project. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal,
Check it
whatever
out.
streaming platforms. 5 songs. Home Fried, Howling at the Moon, Dope Records. Interview coming up with them soon, and we'll check in with you, man. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment.
Sure.
Thank you for tapping in. You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you chose to rock with us on a Wednesday, so we appreciate it. According to
Yes,
Hip Hop, my
sir.
name is Prime, aka RKY. That is Leroy. We appreciate you.
Till next time. See y'all when Snoop drops. You know what I mean? Yada.